Lanetra King is a gospel singer and songwriter with her latest single out called Sufficient. Today, I talk one-on-one with Lanetra about her music for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Lanetra King, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Obviously, you are a public relations executive, a publicist, and now you are a music artist. Tell me
Yes.
Tell me who's Lanetra King these days.
Well, Lanetra King is still a publicist, still a PR agency owner. And so Lanetra King is just someone who is putting in to use all of the gifts and purposes God has given her. So now, in addition to being a PR agency owner, I'm also embarking on this music artist journey. It's just another way for me to express my gift of communication.
What got you from the public relations journey to now the musical journey?
Well, actually, music was my first love. Music was something that was a really deep passion of mine ever since I was a child. But I just kept on running away from it. It was just something that I allowed fear, I allowed insecurities to overtake me. So now, as an adult, I really felt God put it on my heart to step out into the music journey. So I finally took the call, and now I am walking in it.
Walking in it. So now that you're walking in it, who is Lanetra King as a music artist?
As an artist, Lanetra King is someone who really wants to be the voice of peace and inspiration. These days we have so much chaos, division, and sickness, and I really want to just provide inspiration and hope for people to just get through their day-to-day struggles, anything that they may be facing, because music is a form of communication. So I really want to just be that inspiration and voice of hope and peace.
You talk about that form of communication. How differently is the music communication versus the PR communications?
Oh man, that is a great question. The thing with music is no matter what language you speak, no matter where you're from, music resonates with you. So that's the huge difference. And, a lot of music out here right now have a lot of catchy beats, which is great, but I do feel like the message is getting lost in some of the music. So, it's really important for me to have songs that really convey a message that can inspire people.
And what songs, Lanetra, are you listening to other than yours that are actually inspiring you right now?
That is a great question. Jonathan McReynolds, I'm a huge fan of him. He just had a new song come out called Your World, I believe. So that song is really inspirational. It just talks about, that the world is God's and we're just walking in it, and just to walk, in I think one thing that I'm trying to really embrace is walking in grace and peace. So that's something that's really inspiring me these days.
Wow. So when did you get this grace and peace?
That's the ongoing journey. Honestly, it is a day-to-day thing. When I originally wrote Sufficient, which is my debut single that's out now, I was actually going through a moment where I was feeling unworthy. I was feeling condemnation. And I had to remind myself that, God's grace is sufficient for me. And in my weakness, He's made strong. So, but that's something where, we all find ourselves in situations that may be difficult. And we just have to continue reminding ourselves to give ourselves grace.
Well, let me ask you a basic question. What situations of yours personally that you actually turned into a musical song?
Oh man, I've been writing honestly since I was in middle school. So, but I would say more recently, with Sufficient, it just being just finding myself in unhealthy cycles or patterns. I think a lot of times we can become so comfortable in the norm. And so, that's something that I wanted to write about, that, we find ourselves in these different situations, but we can get through them.
Yes. Okay. What were you actually comfortable in before becoming a musical artist?
Oh man, I was comfortable in trying to strive for perfection. That's something that could be really Achilles heel for me, honestly. And just growing to know that nothing is perfect. No one is perfect. You are going to make mistakes. Actually count on making mistakes, because those are how you learn your lessons, and that's how you experience growth.
Where are you with that growth right now?
With that growth, like I said, it's a day-to-day thing. Through the different things in lives and the lessons, I'm just constantly growing day to day, and allowing myself to make those mistakes, like I said before. So I'm still on the journey, and I don't think there's ever a point where you arrive. You're going to constantly be on the journey. So
What are those initial musical mistakes that you've actually had to make, obviously, as an artist?
oh man, musical mistakes. One thing I would say is, especially in the industry, it's so hard to get lost and lose yourself. And I know for me, it was hard just being myself. I thought that, with me, I have a really smooth tone. I don't do all these runs and yells and things like that. And that was something I was insecure about and didn't really want to embrace. But actually, as I started doing shows and, seeing that, oh, people really actually like this. They do want to hear smooth, calming music, and I can be myself and create my own lane. So that would be one thing, is just not embracing who I was.
So who is Lanetra King on the stage?
Man, on the stage, Lanetra King is someone who is going to encourage you, uplift you. I really love engaging the crowd when I'm on stage. That just gives me so much life. And I really kind of take that from my PR career too, because it's all about engagement and building your audience and things like that. So when I come on stage, I am engaging with my audience. They're giving me energy and I'm giving them energy too. And I'm really, just, you can expect just grace and class when I'm on the stage.
So you've obviously engaging your audience a lot on stage. How do you continue to build that audience?
Well, honestly, just giving the audience a peek into who I am, not being afraid to share my struggles, engaging with them and letting them see behind the scenes content into my day-to-day life. And, something I've been doing more is being more present on social media, because as a PR agency owner, I'm so much behind the scenes. So I had to come out, from behind the scenes and let people really see and get to learn who I am.
So let me ask you an obvious question. Who is your audience?
As an artist?
Yes, ma'am.
As an artist, my audience, it's so funny, because right before I released Sufficient, I was shooting some visuals, and we were actually on the beach performing the song, which was really cool. And as people came by, it was so interesting to see who actually connected with the music. And so initially, it was college students. College students could relate to Sufficient. So that was really cool to see. And then as I performed, I started to see that even people in the later stages of their lives was really resonating with the music, because they make comments to me like, oh my gosh, it's so refreshing to hear clean music that's still good, that you can clean to, you can cook to, you can relax to. So I really found that, my audience is the younger age group, but also the older age group, because they're able to enjoy just some clean music that they can listen to. And then the younger generation is something that is just inspirational to get them through their day-to-day journeys as well.
And I know that obviously your particular music has some sort of R&B touch to it. How did your R&B heavy sound and style meet gospel music?
Oh man, that's so good. So my music is urban contemporary music, and it has that R&B flair to it, like you said. And honestly, I like to look at my music as genreless, because I just want it to be good music with a good message. But as far as the R&B influences, I was heavily influenced by 90s music. So Brandy was a huge influence to me. Her melodies, her harmonies. Who else was a huge influence for me? Joe Thomas. He was a huge influence for me, just because he makes timeless music. So those different things I pull from, and it kind of meets So the melodies of R&B, the harmonies, and the timeless characteristics of R&B music kind of met with the gospel message. So all of that came together, and that's pretty much my sound.
The characteristics of R&B and gospel today.
Oh man. As far as R&B, you know, a lot of people are saying that R&B is dead and all these different things. I don't really believe that, because there are some great R&B artists out there who are making some great music. I just think a lot of emphasis, like I said, is being put on more of these like catchy beats and things like that. As far as gospel music, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying especially the contemporary side of things. And I love artists, like I said, Jonathan McReynolds and Kiki Sheard. So I'm really enjoying how they are, especially like Kiki Sheard, you know, she's been in the industry for a while, and just seeing how she's continuing to minister not only to those who go to church and listen to gospel music, but also to those who are outside of the church, and really showing them, you know, that inspiration as well.
And, you know, I actually ran into her at the Columbia Black Expo back in May, and she's just phenomenal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw her when she was here for the Black Expo in Charleston.
Right.
She did phenomenal.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. So let me ask you this, Lanetra. How are you reaching the people outside of the church with your music?
Honestly, it's with those melodies, with those harmonies, because, you know, when you listen to my music, you may not know it is a gospel song until you start hearing the message. So that's my hope, that, you know, that someone would just listen to the song and not categorize it, and really listen to the message. And another thing that I try to convey too is that grace, and the fact that you don't have to be perfect to be loved by God. So, you know, that's how I am reaching them.
And look at you this too. When you go back and listen that is to your music, what plays in your mind?
Oh man, it's so funny. Something that I realize that I need to do better at is, you know, I've had so many people message me and contact me and tell me how they loved my song and how it got them through this moment or that moment. And I'm like, man, I really need to sit with it, because when I listen to the song, it's just like, it's my song, you know, but I need to let it resonate with me just like it resonates with my audience, and let it do the ministering to myself. So when I listen to the song, it's really hard for me to get outside of just the song. So that's something that I need to do better at. But I think about, you know, the process, you know, in getting the song done, and just grateful that it's out now. But yeah, that is, it's so funny listening to your own music. You know, you hear like actors, you know, talking about when they don't like seeing themselves on screen and things like that. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
Wow. So what song from your particular, you know, single describes you?
Well, right now, Sufficient is the only song that is actually publicly released. So I would definitely have to say that Sufficient describes me and describes kind of the journey that I am on to really just be more gentle with myself, and to have more patience with myself. So that would really describe kind of me right now, the journey that I'm on.
And what else has your music brought out of you?
It has brought growth out of me. It has brought wisdom. It's brought confidence, and it's brought purpose.
So, with all that being said, what have you taken from that and brought it over to the PR side of your life?
Oh man, that's a great question. So one thing is, you know, I talked about kind of on the PR agency side, I'm behind the scenes, and with the music, I'm really having to come from behind the scenes, especially on social media and things like that. So it's just having me be more aware of, even as a PR agency owner, putting myself out there and doing interviews and being more active on social media. And then also having that grace with myself. In the PR industry, it can be very competitive. They're very long hours. And it's also, a form of creativity in PR itself. So just really having that creativity, but also bringing grace to myself on that end as well.
And what else do you want to bring to your music next, Miss Lanetra?
Oh man, that's a great question. I really just want to continue creating more inspiration music. As far as like what you can see from me next, there may be a possible video coming out for Sufficient. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to also getting out and performing more so people can come out and see me. And then just looking forward to just continuing to create and continuing to inspire.
That is amazing. Well, Miss Lanetra King, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Absolutely. Thank you. A pleasure to be here.
Likewise, thank you so much.